¿qué tal amigos de Forbes? Les doy la más cordial bienvenida a nuestro foro Panama Invest in Tourism. En esta ocasión vamos a platicar con Lenz, CEO y fundador del Hotel La Compañía, ubicado en el distrito Casco Antiguo en Panamá. Hi Chris, I'm glad that you could join us today in this interview. How are you?
Pleasure to meet you, Carla. And yes, very well. Thank you very much.
Well, I would like to start this interview by asking you about the reasons behind opening a hotel such as La Compañía in Panama.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. My wife and I and my two children, we originally came to Panama for one reason only, and that was for my kids to learn Spanish. And then we were going to return to Thailand. But that was 7 years ago. I found myself very bored in Panama after a couple of years and was looking for a small project. I was retired, something to keep me busy. But a small project turned into a major project when we bought a city block. Why? Why are we doing this? Becomes an interesting question. I think it's a very rare opportunity that you get to take over a monastery from 1688. I mean, this is an old building by European terms. The fact that this is in a new world is very impressive, and it's probably once in a lifetime opportunity to create something completely unique, something that's never been done before. So in that sense, it's a hugely exciting project, and that's what stopped me and kept me in Panama.
That sounds like a very interesting story. So. And now we would like to know more about La Compañía's sustainable strategy. Can you tell us more about it?
I think there's many phases to sustainability. First of all, restoring a building versus building a new building is probably one of the most sustainable things you can do. In fact, when we embarked on this restoration, we did not require an environmental impact assessment, which is very strange for a significant building. And the reason was we're not impacting the environment any more than was previously done. So, we're restoring the buildings. We're providing a lot of manpower, a lot of jobs, but less material. Most new buildings are exactly the opposite. You use a lot of material and less manpower. But because we're restoring existing buildings, we're not using the material, but we're using the manpower. So that's good for employment and very good for sustainability. That's the construction side of it. And what's interesting is we can use, for example, we're going to be the first building in Panama not to have a hot water tank. We will recycle all the heat from our air conditioning to make all of our hot water. So we do not have a boiler in this hotel. So I think it's quite unique that we have a building from 1688, one of the oldest buildings in Central America, with some of the newest technology. But that's sort of our design and design phase and construction phase. When we hit the operational phase, there'll be a few other unique things that we're doing. For example, this hotel will not sell water. I'm sick and tired of going to restaurants and the waiters come to me and say, before I've ordered anything, would you like sparkling or still water? And one, it's to create more sales. I understand that. I've been in a restaurant business my whole life. But what bothers me about it is we drink that bottle of Perrier or Evian or San Pellegrino, and that bottle goes straight into the garbage. It was used once. It was shipped halfway around the world. And I just don't understand anymore why we're shipping water around the world. So in this hotel, we have a water treatment plant. We've made some of our own beautiful bottles. It says on the bottle, when you sit down at our table, we'll bring you two. The water's free. It says, we believe water should be free. And if you like this bottle, feel free to take it home with you. So these are the sort of things we're doing. Another thing we're going to be implementing that I think some people will find interesting is most of us who've stayed in hotels before have seen a sign in the bathroom that says something along the lines of, imagine how many tons of laundry we do every day. and help us protect the environment by hanging your towels, let's face it, that's not true. The reality is the hotel wants to save money on laundry. Ours will have the same card, and it's going to say something like, you've read this before, turnover. We believe in the environment, and if you hang your towels, go to hotelsforhumanity.com and you will see a donation made in your name for $5. So we're not saving the money. And if you turn the card over again, it'll say, if you have any friends that own hotels, ask them to join us. So we're taking a very old building, but we're going to break a lot of molds. We'll do things like our laundry's free. Our mini bars are free. So we're breaking molds, and I don't think environmental sustainability is something that you talk and copy. It's something that you invent and change, and we intend to be a leader in that respect.
That's very important, and it is important to know about these stories, because we think that maybe in another part of the world we can follow this kind of strategies that you are implementing right now. So, but now my next question is, how do you create a sustainable tourist project like this that helps the preservation of cultural heritage, but at the same time, promotes the sustainability and the care of the environment?
Interesting question. Sorry if there's some banging. I am in a construction site. I think the historic and sustainability are two different things. Sustainability is about being innovative and a leader and not afraid to take risk. We're putting our money where our mouth is. You know, our air conditioning system where we recapture the heat. This is costing the hotel an extra $250,000 to do. However, this will return its investment in time. And more importantly, I think what's important, we're not going into the hotel business, and we're not going into the restaurant business. We're going into the historic entertainment business. Rooms and restaurants is our byproduct. Our focus is, if we are just another hotel, and I don't want to name hotels by brand, but many 4-star, 5-star hotels that are brands, they're new buildings. If you wake up in your room with your curtains closed, you wouldn't know what country you're in. We believe that there's a market for unique and boutique, that people want to have a cultural impression of where they were and be part of the community and part of history. So that's our whole concept is based on that. That is more important to us than we're entering into the hotel business. The sustainability part of it is, now you stay in a hotel that historically is unique. And I believe what we're doing, obviously there's other hotels that have renovated monasteries or convents or repurposed buildings. Our building is in 3 wings. We have 3 completely different themes. We have a Spanish colonial theme, a French colonial theme, and an American colonial theme, which is the history of the area we're in and the history of the buildings we're restoring. So it's a completely different story. We'll be going through the whole timeline of Panama. And, you know, some people say, actually, they question whether we're going into the museum business. So, you know, it's risky. But I believe if people appreciate the cultural and historic side of what we did, those are also the educated clientele that will appreciate the sustainability and environmental protection side. Those two people tend to be a little bit more married together. And it's important for us, if we can attract them on the historic side and deliver on the sustainability side, we become more of a complete package to them.
Yeah, that sounds really important and really interesting. And now, talking about Panama and the benefits that the government or the entire country offers to the investors. What benefits does Panama offer to support this kind of projects?
I think it depends where you are. Obviously, there's different laws. We have a Law 8, we have a Law 136. There's quite a few government incentive programs for tourism-related projects and hotel-related projects. Hotel-related in the city, not so much at the moment. However, in the old city where we're located is a different law, and there's very big incentives for tourism throughout the country. We're talking about reduced interest loans, zero profits tax in some cases for 10 years, a reduction. In our case, we have no property taxes for 30 years. 30 years of no property taxes is significant. But there's also, I know outside the city, there's credits where you can write off your capital investment and actually sell the tax credit on the secondhand market. So there's quite a significant array of tax incentives for the tourism sector. And I think it depends where the particular investor, what type of project are they entering into and where is it? Because that can lead to a different category or different bank of incentives.
Okay, that sounds really important for investors right now, and especially in this field, talking about sustainable tourism. And if you could tell us or give us a message for all our audience, and especially investors who are looking for these kind of opportunities, what could you tell them?
Yeah, I think if it's particularly Panama related and sustainable, Panama hasn't really been known for its sustainability. I mean, we do have big solar parks, et cetera, et cetera. But I think the tourism side, Panama is still a baby. When you could argue this country is still a baby, and in a way, it was only created post Panama Canal handover. Of course, the country has existed longer. But economically speaking, Panama has changed dramatically since 1999 with the income of the Panama Canal. So sometimes I say to people that treat Panama, it's a 100-plus-year-old country, but sometimes you can treat it more like an adolescent. And I think our tourism side is very much greenfield still. We have other countries in Central America that are much more developed in a tourism point of view, on a sustainability market as well. So I think we need to be bold, not be afraid, and be in for the test of time. And I think the investments required in sustainability will pay dividends in the long term, both economically, but possibly more important when we talk about millennials and the modern generation in terms of their credibility towards your property, that they respect you. That this is we're really changing clientele, and the millennials of today are the buyers. They're the buyers now and the significant buyers of the future. So when we talk about new product and greenfield tourism, we're not talking about a 1 or 2 year product. This is a 10, 20-year product, so we have to look at the younger clientele and understand what their expectations are.
Yeah, that's true. Millennials and centennials are the new audiences. So, well, Chris, thank you so much for this interview. We hope we can learn more about la compañía.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Muchas gracias a todos por estar conectados en esta interesante entrevista. Los invitamos a seguir conectados en nuestro foro Panama Invest in Tourism.